Hello, everybody. Catherine Guiley here. Oh my gosh, I have to show you this. I know I have to move my computer because I don't have my regular setup here as far as having the my little camera, but like these dogs sitting here are just too cute. Oh my gosh, they're just sacked out. That's my little puppy and her mama. Yeah, and I'm here without my makeup on, just creating a video by popular demand. So I had some requests for people in my broader audience to provide some information about photobiomodulation, which is a very long word for light therapy. I do have a private longer video. This is not going to be super long, 5-10 minutes. But I do have a longer video that I did for my study participants because I did include photobiomodulation as one of the key interventions for my dissertation research on brain-body wellness. That was primarily using brain spotting, photobiomodulation, and cranial electrotherapy stimulation. And I had other lifestyle interventions, nutrition, supplements, hydration, activity, things like that, mindfulness, meditation. But the photobiomodulation, CES, and brain spotting were some of the interventions that the participants particularly enjoyed. And I'm going to show a few options for photobiomodulation. First, I'll kind of start with what it is, why it appears to work according to the 4,500 peer-reviewed articles that you can read if you have access to a medical library, or a lot of it's on PubMed. Actually, a lot of it's going to be on a website that I'm going to show you. And I actually just was inspired to put up a blog on my website, so about photobiomodulation, since it seems to be a hot topic. So what just happened there? So I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to actually go to that blog post. It's at makeeverythingfun.com/blog, and this would be the most recent one if you're watching this upon the time of this release. It's the end of 2019. So this blog post just kind of goes through some information about photobiomodulation, how it helps. You know, some of the primary things that it does is it appears to reduce inflammation. It's got some aesthetic and cosmetic applications. Maybe I should be using that on my face a little bit more. I do have a face mask, and I will show you in this blog post. Some of my study participants were brave enough to have the face mask on as they had their sessions, but that's great because then it can really penetrate. And we'll see later a product called V-Light or Vi-Light. Sorry that I don't know that exactly how to pronounce that. But it actually shines the light up one's nose, which means that there's not as much bone blocking access to the brain, which is where we're trying to get the light when we're working on brain body wellness. So kind of getting it on the back of the head for the brainstem, and then up the nose, which I think is really interesting. I'll show you a picture of that as well. But reduction of inflammation, which is a hot topic in brain body wellness. So we know that inflammation leads to all kinds of degenerative issues in the brain: Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, cognitive decline. And we don't want to have that. I am entering the second half of my life. I'm hitting 50 next year. So I'm really thinking about how I can keep my brain in optimal performance, because I need that brain. I rely on it. Okay, so aesthetic cosmetic, I just talked about that. Sports performance and recovery. We'll be talking about neurocare systems in a bit. In fact, I can just, I'm sharing my screen. When I get my, when I'm not sharing my screen, I have a pad right here from neurocare systems, which is what I used for my study participants. And there's different settings, and there's A, B, C, N, and then 1, 2, 3, all the way to 7, which have different applications. The A, B, C, and N actually go through, they sort of rotate through frequencies, and actually apply a little bit of sound therapy as well. So that's kind of cool. And you can go to some functional medicine practitioners and or chiropractic doctors, and they will have one of the huge cold lasers, which is kind of out of the scope of what I'm talking about today. Those are $30,000 systems. The ones that the chiropractors and functional medicine doctors have, totally recommend checking some out if you need a recommendation for somebody here in the Wood River Valley. Definitely recommend checking out Dr. Tom Archie's practice and what he has there. But if you're looking for something for a sports team or home use or for a practitioner's office, like if you're in mental health or cognitive health, or there's all kinds of different, sports, and there's even applications for sleeping better and general wellness. It would be a dream if every family could have a system in their house. You can buy handheld lights like for several $100s on Amazon, but it doesn't go through all the different frequencies that we'll be talking about that NeuroCare Systems has, and that I'm sure some of the other light therapy systems have as well. So overall wellness. So there's this great book, Ari Whitten's Ultimate Guide to Red Light Therapy. I also mentioned in my blog post Dave Asprey's Headstrong, and there's a lot of discussion in his book about mitochondria and how the cells in our brain and our eyes have a very high density of mitochondria, and so it's very important. Those are the powerhouse organelles of our body. The systems within our cells that create energy through the Krebs cycle. If you remember that from biology. But having that positive effect on the mitochondria is how we think that the pathways work for photobiomodulation. So I've got some information about how it was used by NASA, and there's an excerpt from Whitten's book. I also linked to Michael Hamblin on YouTube. He's interviewed in this link by Dr. Mercola. And Michael Hamblin has just been such a wonderful leader in this whole world of photobiomodulation. So check him out. He's a really entertaining guy to watch on a video, and extremely articulate. And this is really what he's focused on. So you can learn a lot from him. And here's a picture of one of my study participants with the NeuroCare system on. So actually, when I turn off my screen sharing, I'll show you the pads. You can kind of construct a helmet out of the pads. This person also has the eye pad on as well. And this connects to, in my case, a 6-port system, and delivers, like I said, a protocol which is going to cycle through the frequencies of pulsed light at different wavelengths, all measured in nanometers, usually from around, in the 600s up to like 11 to 1200. And they all have different benefits. And so then I've linked to some research here on shining the light on the brain. There's a great study of veterans with TBI that was in excess of 18 months old, and how these veterans improved on cognitive scales. That was kind of cool. So, and then I have some references here at the bottom. So I'm trying to move quickly through this because I don't want to make this into a long video, but this is the NeuroCare Systems. I am part of their team. I'm getting educated, and I'm getting my light therapy certification so that I can speak more eloquently, because I think this is a really cutting edge. In fact, future medicine will be the medicine of frequencies. Albert Einstein. Like, I actually believe, I was just interviewing somebody on my podcast, and they were saying, this is a senior person in the brain spotting modality that was saying that, it's all about energy. It's all about waves. It's all about frequency. And so light is really, really important. Light is actually what regulates our clock, our internal, circadian rhythms. And so I get out in the morning, every morning, and get some light into my eyes, and it helps to set my internal rhythms so I can sleep at night. So that helps to produce serotonin, which is the feel-good chemical. So light is just sort of part of this important system of light. We're here on planet Earth because of our sun. So that's just some sort of philosophical stuff about why I'm a crazy person about light. And anyway, so here you can see some of the things that they have. These are the different pads that I was talking about. This is a controller that looks like a 6-port controller, and the things just kind of plug in with cords. My system ends up looking a little bit like an octopus, like I'm connecting everything. There's a lot of cords. But it's really cool. And what I like about this particular system is that it's soft. So I actually put the B setting on, which is the relaxation setting, every night before I fall asleep. And by the time it's done, and it actually goes through solfeggio sound healing scales, and it gets higher and higher and higher, and you can actually hear them. And by the time it's like at the highest scales, I actually am like closing my eyes. I used to suffer from insomnia, so this has been life changing for me. And so they have this research tab. Let me pull that up really quick because here we go, the science. This kind of talks about more about the pathways, about how it works. There's a nitric oxide effect, which is, again, related to the effect that photobiomodulation has on the mitochondria. But this is just kind of some interesting information to read. And there's more information about light therapy. There's the mitochondria. Love that stuff. There's the different wavelengths. Some of the wavelengths we can't even see. Oh, here we go. So here's 470, 630. I had mentioned that before. And then these are the higher wavelengths that we actually can't even see. And then here's all the studies. So if you are interested in peripheral neuropathy, wound healing, pain, let's see, TBI, brain conditions, and exercise post-workout recovery, these are some great links that you can follow so you can kind of find out, is this backed up by science? Why doesn't everybody know about this? Okay. There's also, because I didn't want to be like just showing one company's information, I'm just going to bring up another one that I've heard really great things about. One of my trainers in the brain spotting modality actually has this equipment, and you see it shines the light up the nose, and so it can access the brain that way. And then this actually goes around the back. It's more like a helmet, a hard cased helmet, as opposed to like the soft helmet that I showed in the picture a second ago. And this has got some really, really interesting research around it. And I've heard great things. So my issue with this study is that I'm interested in sort of compliance. And I know from, my work in the nonprofit organization Nurture, where we do nutrition education for kids, is that, the more easy, the lower the hurdle that you make for people and to create change in their life, the more likely you're going to get compliance, and then long-lasting compliance, which is really, which becomes a habit, which is really what creates our life. And I was concerned that because of the comfort factor, that I wouldn't have high compliance, and I really, really wanted high compliance in my study participant group. So I am open to this though, because this is an interesting, setup. As long as people are compliant with using it, I think it's really, really exciting. So that's just some information about those few things. And I am going to stop sharing. So, back on the whole light thing, like I got this thing for my daughter. It's actually on right now. But in the morning, if it's like a cloudy day, oh, this is all tied up. Okay, it's all connected. Okay, I can't show you it. But actually, I can pivot a little bit. So you see this is a bright, a bright light. Oh my God, there, you can kind of see it. Okay, and so you can get these on Amazon. These are kind of happy lights, and they do the full spectrum UV lights. You can also get these ones by a company called Ario that actually connect in somehow through Wi-Fi and figure out what time of day it is, and then they change the light spectrum based on the time of day, which is really cool. So at the nighttime, I have one of those in my office. It starts to glow like a sunset, and your eyes and you actually have receptors in your skin as well pick up on that, and then you start to produce melatonin, and you have a good night's sleep. And in the morning, you get invigorated by the light. Okay, now that I don't have, hopefully everything isn't all tangled up here. I'm not in my office, as you can tell. This is one of the NeuroCare pads. This is actually the T-pad. You can see that these are the diodes here. This is the lights shine through here, and they actually pulse. And then this is the cord. I don't have the controller in front of me, but this is the cord that would go into one of the ports on the controller. And I have a 6-port myself, but there are, I should have actually pulled up some of the different things. There's a 4-port, there's a 2-port, and then there's these different protocols. And I used mostly the ABC in my study. So I hope that wasn't too much information. I wanted to get through a lot quickly. Feel free to reach out to me if you have questions about photobiomodulation, or if you want to get a system for your practice. I can help you get a neurocare system into your practice, which is kind of exciting. And yeah, and I'm really, really excited about spreading the word about this interesting modality, because it's one of those things. It's like, why doesn't everybody know about this? Okay. So let's see, this is Make Wellness Fun. Get some light, treat your body right. Okay, have a great day.